what I meant to say.
Yeah. All right. So we're live. Welcome everybody to Whatever It Takes Wednesday. This is episode number 33. Interviewing the man, the myth, Coach Ray Briggs from Houston. Houston, Ray?
Houston, no, sir. No.
Texas.
I'm in the dry part of Texas right now. I'm in San Antonio.
Okay. Yeah. I get some of those big towns over there mixed up. I know you're from more than one town over there too, so because you've talked to me about that before. So awesome, man. So hey, Ray, I'm glad to have you on here again. This is kind of like a redo from last week. It's the first one of those, but you know the philosophy, man. Whatever it takes, right? And I know you live by that philosophy in your coaching and in your life, and you know the way you're persistent with everything that you do. I follow you closely. Glad we're friends. I see on there Michael Fowler. What's up, man? Whatever it takes. What do you got? Whatever. WITS. Whatever it takes. Something. I don't know what that means. But hey, we're here, baby.
We are here. Happy to be on.
Ready to make some noise, man. Make this one
absolutely
3 or 4 times more high energy than the last one we did.
Man, no, I'm just happy to be a part of it, you know, especially in the inaugural year, you know, episode 33. So just being able to see, you know, just consistently run with it for 9 months already. You know what I mean? You know, obviously we met a couple years ago, and then just, you know, kind of knowing your passion to get it started and actually pulling the trigger and getting it started 9 months ago. So just being able to be invited and be a part of it, you know what I'm saying? I'm definitely appreciative and grateful. So hopefully I can add a little bit of value and, you know, just kind of answer any questions, whatever that may come up, and you know what I'm saying, keep the tradition going.
Yeah, love it, man. Love it. Love how you just called out that 9 months too. I didn't even realize that's what that equals out to. When I first set this show up, I was like, I'm going to do at least 50 episodes. That's my first goal. 50 episodes. I figured that was around a year. It's really 52, but I was like, yeah, 50 episodes, you know, just made that vision. I'll probably have to change it up, of course. But yeah, so you touched a little bit on how we met, man. So let's start off with a little funny story real quick, man. So so when we first met, man, we did a video together, man. We were talking about that before the thing. What did you call me, man? You gave me a nickname.
Well, you know, it started at the event was at, so, you know, everybody's watching, obviously we met at an e-commerce networking event a few years ago. I was up there. I said my background is in youth sports and in basketball, so, you know, I've always tried to, you know, just keep an eye out for anything that I could do to help, you know, families or kids or anybody to be able to do anything they want in youth sports without, you know, finances being a reason why they can't do anything. So, you know, just always keeping your mind open to different ways you can get the resources needed to get the things that you need and stuff like that. So, attracted me to e-commerce, you know, just looked at some different things online, went to a networking event, met Dan here, and anybody that's met Dan know, you know, he's got a real infectious personality. You know what I mean? He kind of, he's easy to get along with, you know. He kind of clicks and can kind of, you know, navigate and get along with, you know, different kinds of people, anybody, you know, any background, different stuff like that. So, you know, was out hanging out one night after the event, and I couldn't. I was like, man, you remind me of what I said. You remind me of oh gosh, I think I called him a chameleon. Yeah, chameleon. I was like, man, you know, I was like, Dan the chameleon. I said, you know, you just be able to change the colors, be able to switch it up and get along with this people and get along with that people and go here and go there. So Dan the chameleon, that's how I remembered him. So Dan the chameleon, his name's been stuck in my mind for the last couple of years, and we've been keeping in touch ever since.
That's funny too. In the video, you called me the salamander, though. You had my name.
That's what it was. That's what I was like. Hey, you get along with everybody so well. You like a salamander. I was like, oh, that's not right. That's not right. I said, Dan the chameleon gets along with everybody. So anybody that's been around Dan, or, you know, like I say, you know, he's got an infectious personality. He's easy to get along with, easy to talk to, easy to connect with. So Dan, that's how I remember him forever now.
The salamander, the chameleon. That's funny, man. I got so many different names. Yeah, it was cool. It was cool meeting you too, and to touch on basketball and stuff like that. I was like, man, he's tall, man. Look at Ray. How tall are you again, Ray?
6'8". 6'8",
6'8".
6'9" on paper. You know, depending on who's asking. But
yeah, we should have like a one-on-one basketball game in the future, man.
Yeah, I think that might be a little more in my wheelhouse. A little more.
It'll be like the McGregor Mayweather fight.
Oh yeah, there you go. I know you're Yeah, you're the wrestler MMA guy. So if you come into my domain in basketball, I think I got the advantage. If we went to the mats, you might have the advantage there. I'm not sure.
I'll be out there hustling, man. Probably fouling you.
Yeah, absolutely. So excited to be on here, be a part of. As I said, this first inaugural year. Whatever it takes Wednesday series segment. Like I said, definitely want to be able to, like I said, answer any questions or just kind of keep the flow going of what you've been building there.
Awesome. Yeah, and like Ray said, any questions that you guys have, about coaching, basketball, youth basketball, any of those types of things that that Ray's been doing for almost 2 decades now. I think that's so impressive. Me and Ray were talking. I was like, I want to have you on the show, man, because like not that many people. I only like to have people on the show that are like the top 1%, and really less than 1% of people coach for 2 decades. That's an obvious. So I'm grateful to have you on here, man. And I have coaching experience too, like with wrestling. I coached like 1 season of wrestling. I remember talking to you before, like asking you questions. I'm like, how do you deal with the kids and stuff like that? So we'll tie into some of that stuff, in a few moments. But like, just if you don't mind, just give a little bit of your backstory. I know we've kind of done this before on the past episode, but like who Ray Briggs is and where you're from and all that kind of stuff.
Okay. Well, real quick, I guess I kind of package it shortly. I'm originally from Leavenworth, Kansas. It's a town in Kansas that's most commonly known for the federal penitentiary, if anybody, if you ever hear a Leavenworth reference. But there is this town there, they have an education system and everything like that. So I grew up in Leavenworth, Kansas, and it's kind of funny because we did this last week. We had some issues, and Dan asked me that same question as far as giving my backstory. And, I'm a firm believer that, I don't know, there are certain things that people go through in life that kind of push you down a certain path or a certain way of thinking and stuff. And for me, when it came to basketball, basketball is something that I didn't get involved with. I didn't play at all until just before 7th grade, which is kind of uncommon because most tall kids naturally, gravitate towards basketball or whatnot. But also consider what, most would call a late bloomer. Like I said, not playing until like 7th grade. So, and for me, the sport of it was great. I love the sport of it, but it was really just kind of a release for me. It was kind of a getaway. There was some stuff I was going through when I was younger. So it was really just kind of a way for me to kind of, get away, find something I could lock in on, put my energy into it or something positive. And from then on, everything I've done with basketball has been kind of the motivation behind, me playing, being a part of a team, all the way to coaching kids in camps, clinics, trainings, club teams, everything across the board.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Awesome. Yeah, I'm just listening to you. I'm like, yeah, I heard all this stuff last time. But I appreciate you saying it for the new people watching it, whether you guys catch this live or you catch the recording, like I just put in the comment thread too, any questions about basketball coaching, basketball youth coaching, or anything in that area, feel free to drop your questions below, anytime. And yeah, so it's good to get to know you better, Ray. I appreciate our relationship. And so as far as working with the youth, like what do you like best about doing that, man? Like what excites you about it? Like where's the passion and like what?
That's a good question. For me, the passion.
Like what's the drive? Like what's the driving force?
For me personally, the driving force in it is really growth. It's being able to develop a relationship with somebody, anybody, and being able to see growth in that person individually. Because I think one thing I've always believed is, it doesn't matter how old somebody is. You know, it could be a child as young as 5, 6, 7 years old, or it could be somebody that's 70 or 80 years old. You know, inspiration or seeing somebody grow or seeing somebody figure something out or seeing somebody, you know, find a passion, you know what I'm saying, or something. And anything it has always been, you know, a driving force. It's always been a passion for me. And there's nothing more, for me, there's nothing more powerful than being able to see it in somebody young, being able to see it in an elementary age kid, somebody, you know, 8, 9, 10, 12, 14, 13, 14 years old. You know what I'm saying? I think it's just, you know, it's like seeing a seed in the ground that's starting to break and you're starting to see, you know, the tree or the fruit or the branch, you know what I'm saying, kind of start to sprout out, you know what I'm saying? So being able to see that or be a part of that birthing process, you know what I'm saying, so to speak, is something that just, I mean, is a passion of mine because it can change somebody's life, you know what I'm saying, is what it did it for me. So that's really my I guess my motivating factor in being involved in it for so long.
Wow. That's awesome, man. And like I was just thinking of this, like while you were talking, like what you're talking about, like what excites you and everything like that. And my brother actually coaches basketball too, or did for like, I don't know, like 5 years or so, 10 years. And he sometimes he talks about like work ethic with the kids and stuff like that. And I just had this question. I think it's a really cool question. And if you would probably enjoy talking about it, probably even too. Like as far as hustle, like as far as hustle with kids, do you think hustle can be taught? Like, what's your perspective on that?
Oh man, that's a real.
You know how some
question.
kids are just good. Like some kids are just good, right? Or people are just good. Like they're good, but in the game maybe they're not good sometimes and it's like they just don't seem like to have the hustle. Like, what's your perspective on that, man?
Yeah, hold on, let me get a quick drink of wine.
He's like, this is going to be I'm going to be long-winded with this one, probably.
Well, it's such a good question. I actually had touched on this topic in a little bit different area a couple of days ago with some people in the basketball community, and it's something that, you know, a lot of parents go through with their child in any sport, right? You know, whether you're the coach of it or you're a parent who has a child involved in it, or maybe you're supporting some neighborhood kids or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying, right? You know, everybody wants to see a child, especially if you're a coach, successful and work and happy. So when it comes to work ethic, you know what I'm saying, I think it's something that is that's something that's learned through observation or something that's learned through experience. You know, it's almost like you don't know. For example, my son ran track this past summer. He's 7 years old. He ran track this past summer for the first time ever. My wife, she ran track in college and stuff like that, so she was all excited to see him out there on the track. Now, when he ran, you know, this is his first year running track, and anybody that's done track or seen kids in track before, you know, a lot of kids, you know, sometimes they don't know how fast they really are. You know what I'm saying? Like they'll get out, you know, they'll run at a certain pace, and you put them around certain other kids, and they'll run a little bit faster. You know what I'm saying? Or they'll start to kind of figure out, you know what I'm saying, how fast they can really run, right? I think work ethic is the same way. You know what I'm saying? I think, you know, everybody is born with a certain level of work ethic because, you know, everybody wants something. You know what I'm saying? Or they, you know, they know how to go after something they want or put the creative energy into something that they want. You know what I'm saying? Kids, we're born with that, right? So I think the more kids are exposed to different levels of work ethic, you know what I'm saying, whether they see it in a business or see it in a sport or see it in a practice or see it in a training, you know what I'm saying? I think it's something that can feed them, and, you know, they can learn, you know what I'm saying? Is this something that I'm willing to work hard at? And that's where I think that, you know, as a coach, it's important for them to recognize if a kid is not passionate about something, you know what I'm saying? I don't care how hard you want them or the most, you know, hardest working environment you put them in, you know what I'm saying? If it's not a passion of theirs, they're not going to work hard at it. You know what I mean? And as parents, it's important for us, you know what I'm saying, to make sure we recognize that and are aware of that when we're watching or trying to figure out what it is that our kids are into, or trying to work with them through, you know, experience. Try this out, try that out, see if you like it. You know what I'm saying? But when it becomes something, you know, that is clearly they don't have a passion, then it's not a work ethic thing. You know what I'm saying? It's, you know, like you, Dan, for example. I know we've talked before, and you talked about your experience growing up in the school system, right? You know what I'm saying? And you was in the environment, right, of kids working hard, quote unquote, getting an education. You know what I mean? But because that wasn't a passion of yours, it was not a negative. You know what I'm saying? It's something that created an opportunity for you to where somebody might look at your situation like, this kid's not going to be successful in life. You know what I'm saying? And now, you know what I'm saying? Anybody would see you now that saw you when you were in high school, like, man, come teach me. You know what I'm saying? Come help me out. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's the same way. You know what I mean? What do you think?
What was the last thing you said?
I was asking what you think of that, if that's kind of a accurate analogy.
Yeah. I'm just listening to you, man, and just love your perspective, man. I always like to say there's no right or wrong answer to questions. You know what I mean? It's just a matter of perspective, and people with lots of experience like you, like obviously you have a great perspective. It's very like it's very evolved over time. Just experiencing all the experience that you've had with the kids and yeah, I mean, it's in my opinion, about hustle, and if hustle can be taught, I really just feel like I don't know the answer to it. You know what I mean? Like I just don't know I don't know if it's possible to be taught. You know what I mean? Like it's like I played my nephew in basketball the other day. He's very skilled, and I said, you can't beat me because I have more hustle than you. It doesn't matter if you're better than me or not. And we went out there and played, and I had a couple drinks too. And I was like, I felt like I was gonna die. My insides felt like they were caving in. I felt like I couldn't breathe. He's 16 years old. He's got a nice jumper. He's going in, and then he's fading out. And he's, what I mean? He's trying to play me, and I'm like, I'm real good with my defense. I'm real tense. I'm like, I'm on him, and I was beating him. And then I started getting out of breath, and I had a couple drinks too. I think the drinks affected me.
Yeah, that's not a good combination for cardio.
And he beat me. His hustle was all right. His hustle's all right. My one nephew. Yeah. So, but yeah, I don't know. I have really good hustle. Like I'll die. I'm like Will Smith. He's like, I'll die on the treadmill. Before you'll get off. Before me, I'm kind of like that. So, just. But yeah, I think it's important, man. Hustle. And what do you think of So Ray, what do you think about mindset in sports? About having the right attitude. I mean, it's kind of similar to hustle, I guess, right in a way. But what are your thoughts on mindset and helping these kids get the right mindset? Or is there anything you do to try to help the kids make their mind stronger?
Yeah, very good question. A buddy of mine actually have brought the same question up as well. He has a son that's young and very talented, and he's I think third grade right now. He's starting to go through the process of putting him in different leagues or starting up teams for him and all that stuff like that, and just kind of seeing how that path's going to go, right? And whether your kid is, the one that comes out that's naturally talented or they're the beginner or anything like that, the mindset behind what sports can do for a young person, it's important to have the right perspective on it. Now, through my experience, of coaching for so long and work with kids for, since the mid 90s, to now has evolved since I've been a dad, right? I mean, because I think there's certain things that you learn from working with other people's kids and then seeing how they parent and their experiences. And then once you have your own, what you're learning from that experience kind of helps connect the two, you know what I'm saying? It gives you a broader perspective on it. So what I found is when you're dealing with sports and you want your children to have the right mindset, it's about making sure that in a world where everything's about highlights and about stats and stuff like that, that they understand it's about focusing on the controllables, right? So, for example, in it's soccer season right now, right? My son plays soccer right now. To kind of give you an example. Now, I could tell him, son, I want you to score 2 goals this game. I want you to score 3 goals this game. You know what I'm saying? How come this kid went by you here? How come, you know what I'm saying? You're not hustling hard enough, or how come, you didn't see that teammate? You know what I'm saying, right? We can talk about all those things, and that list can go on forever, but that's not the right mindset that I want him to have about sports. You know what I mean? So you want sports to be something, an extension of life, something that could be a teaching tool for you for life. So I've narrowed down to 4 things, right? It's something that tangible that I use every single time in dealing with my kids in sports. Before the game and after the game, there's only 4 things that we really talk about, you know what I'm saying, in reference to the sporting event coming up or the one that just finished. And it's a checklist we go down every single time. Number 1 is, did you play hard, right? You know, just that simple. Did you give 100%? Did you play hard? You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to break down every play. I'm not going to talk about, you know what I'm saying? And well, this one I did or that one I did, you know, kids will try to do, you know what I mean? You know, for the game, we'll talk about the game. Did you play hard? Yes or no? All right. He was asking, you know, did I play good? How did I do today? Okay. Did you play hard? Number 1. All right. Yeah. Play hard. Okay, cool. Number 2, were you a good teammate? Were you a good teammate? You know, because like we just talked about, work ethic, right? You said that's something that can be taught. Well, if that's what my mindset is with everything, you know what I'm saying? I know you say all the time, Dan, how you do one thing is how you do everything, right? So my mindset is that I'm going to work hard, whether it's soccer, you know, jiu-jitsu, basketball, whatever it might be, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to outwork whoever, you know what I mean? I'm going to be a good teammate, you know what I mean? I'm going to be somebody that can work well with others, you know what I'm saying? Somebody that knows how to, you know, work together, bring people together, you know what I'm saying? That understands it's about more than just me, right? Number 3, did you listen to your coach? A lot of times, you know, from the sideline, you know, with me coaching basketball, sometimes it's easy to try and coach your own kids through detailed things and say, you know, hey, get back here, turn here, go with this foot, go with that foot, you know. But, you know, from the sideline, be a fan and teach your kids to be coachable. And the kids always naturally, they want to look at the sideline for the support and comfort from finding their parents when they're in the middle of a sporting event, you know what I'm saying? Or parents feel like, well, he'll listen to me, you know what I'm saying? You know, if I tell him to do something, he'll do what I tell him to do. Well, what do we teach and what's the right mindset? What's the mindset that we're developing? You know what I'm saying? And do you have a coachable, you know what I'm saying, mindset, right? That's number 3. So number 1, you know, work hard, you know what I'm saying? Give 100%. Number 2, we talk about were you a good teammate, right? Were you a good team? Number 3, did you listen to your coach? And then number 4, be a beast. Flat out, go out there to you play sports to win. You know what I'm saying? I make sure they understand that, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know, some kids are out, it's fun, but don't, you know, understand this is a competition. You go out there and you be a beast. You go out there and you try to dominate, do everything that you can to impact the game and make sure your team wins, whatever you have to do. You know what I'm saying? So that's my 4th one. We kind of came together on that one.
Yeah, it's the bonus.
So that's kind of how I frame it, you know, from a mindset standpoint, you know what I'm saying? Because if I keep it on those 4 topics, it's like, okay, well, I did 1, and, you know, I didn't do 1, but I did 2, 3, 4. But okay, well, you know, you did good. You didn't do great. You did good. You know what I'm saying? You did all 4. Hey, man, you didn't score any goals. It's not attached to a stat. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's not attached to, you know, well, the referee, I had a bad referee today. He fouled me. I didn't get a chance to get out there and get my rebounds. Oh, all right. Well, these are all controllables. Because if you do these 4 things that are controllables, you're going to be in position to get stats. You're going to be in position to win. You're going to get, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to be as a parent to see you happy and successful, which is, you know what I'm saying, what every parent wants to see their child do. You know what I'm saying? But I want to see my kid happy and successful because he is working hard. He's being a good teammate. You know what I'm saying? He's listening to his coaches, and he's out there being a straight up beast, like giving everything he has. You know what I'm saying? So, that's kind of the mindset approach that I've taken, and my son and my daughter, they both, you know, have gravitated towards it. Our conversations, you know, before games and after games have been so much more different. I'm seeing their passion and their enthusiasm, you know what I'm saying, for whatever it is they're doing. You know what I'm saying? You know, it could be Uno, you know what I'm saying? I'm seeing their mindset just be more, you know, competitive, driven, you know what I'm saying? I'm seeing it, you know what I'm saying, whether playing soccer or, you know, hey, you want to do this? You know, they're willing to try different things, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I don't know if that's all connected or related, but like I said, just, you know, our conversations in reference to sports or competing or, you know, I'm a basketball head, so I'd love to see them play basketball, and they like it. You know what I'm saying? But just all that stuff. I just want to see growth.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Man, I appreciate your thoughts, man. I'm just like listening to you, man, and I'm like getting pumped, man. Like I want to go play sports right now. You know what I mean? So it's here's my neighbor here. He's like, tell my kid all the time, only way to be the best is to work harder than everyone else. Holds true in everything, including sports. Cool, Corey. Awesome, man.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
So you know what I really loved that you said too, right? That I noticed that you said that was real. It was like it really like caught my attention. Was like you were like talking about focusing on the controllables and like not focusing on like the stats or the highlights. Like you know what I mean? And I think that's really powerful. Like I'm not sure if I'm coaching. I'm coaching my son in wrestling or not this year. They're going into like a different division. I don't know if they need any help or not. But if I am in there helping out, I think I'm going to be like paying attention to that like that outlook, because I think it's as powerful. Like so like do you not like so like in relation to that, like do you try to stay away from like the kids having like one good move, like one good go-to, like because you're like talking about like focusing on the controllables. It sounds kind of broad. Do you like is there like something where you're like, oh well, I am gonna play his strengths, like touch on that a little bit.
It's interesting. And with kids, I mean, this one thing I love about youth is they're so creative and they have such a high level of self-awareness that sometimes doesn't get enough light shined on it to answer that question. And what I mean by that is, whatever their, go-to move is going to be something they feel comfortable doing. Now, we can work on developing skill. You know what I'm saying? You could teach an animal to do a skill, right? You know what I mean? But as a human being, especially in youth, they're so creative and they're so intuitive to where if we're in the gym and I may give them, okay, here's how you do a crossover. Here's how you do, step back. Here's how you change direction. You know what I'm saying? They may not do it picture perfect, but in a game situation, they're going to find if they've been, dribbling a little bit or they've been doing something, you know what I'm saying? They'll find a move that they feel comfortable doing, you know what I'm saying, to get by the defender or to get the shot off. Some kids, it might be a crossover. Some kids, it might be behind the back. Some kids, it might be between the legs. Some bigger kid that's strong, he may I'm just going to spin off this guy and body him up. You know what I mean? Kids will naturally figure some of that stuff out if you give them a chance to learn. I mean, if you give them a chance to discover that about it, so like for example, something tangible. When I'm in the gym and let's say I'm working out a new group of 15, 20 kids, I'll set up, we'll set up, a dribbling ball handling station, and one time I'll say, okay, come down, do a crossover, come down, go between your legs, go behind your back, do a spin move or whatever, okay, and then but I don't stop there. After we do that for a little while, then I come back and I'm like, all right, now freestyle. Find out what feels most natural for you. You know what I'm saying? If you come down and you cross over and you lose it, that might not be your go-to move right now. That's okay. But try between the legs. Try the behind the back. Try the spin move. Oh, the spin, that worked for you? Okay, do it again. Oh, do it again. Okay, so now what's happening? They're getting more confidence. You know what I'm saying? So in that game situation, they know what move to make. You know what I'm saying? Not because it's scripted, it's intuitive, it's instincts. You know what I'm saying? And that's how ultimately that's how you really have the right mindset and you give the kid the ownership to, develop their game. And as a coach, you have to have the ability to like you said, recognize, okay, what's their strength? Okay, now let's start playing out of your strength. Okay, so now let's come down. Let me teach you how to hit that same spin move. And instead of going for a layup, space out and hit a jump shot. You know what I'm saying? Okay, now come up that spin move. And if you don't have a shot, now you can make this pass to your teammate over here because you beat your man, right? You got your go-to move, you beat your man. Now somebody's coming to help. You know what I'm saying? So now they're understanding different levels of the game. So not to ramble, I don't know if I'm rambling on too far, but
yeah, you're good.
that's kind of my approach, you know what I'm saying, to kind of, playing the kids' strengths or helping them develop their game or understand how to build their confidence, you know what I'm saying, in a skill they may not be 1,000% great at right now or yet.
Awesome. Great response to that. And I can relate to that too, like with just for doing one season coaching wrestling even. It's like the kids, as they start just naturally evolving like into doing like certain things. You notice them doing certain things over and over again, and then you can kind of call it out and tell them, to go to that. Mm-hmm. So awesome, man. So like you were saying, like I'm writing this stuff down. You can't see, it's like a big mess. But I'm like taking notes from you. I'm learning from you right now. And like I wrote down your whole the questions you asked the kids after the game there. Where did you work hard? Were you a good teammate? Did you listen to your coach and that be a beast? Like, is there anything you say to the kids? So what do you say to the kids before that you're about to get started? Is there anything that's routine with that? Is it kind of similar?
Yeah, similar.
But these are like questions about like how the game was. So like, what do you do? Talk to the kids about like when the game's about to get started. Is it custom each time? Is there some go-to things that you like to say? You probably tell them to be a beast, I imagine.
Well, honestly, I think it all starts with your prep. The kids. Like I said, most kids that are playing sports, they're at an age where they know, okay, Saturday you got a game. You know what I mean? So we'll talk about it on Wednesday or Thursday. And I got one rule with my kids in the house when it comes to sports, and I tell them, if you're going to play a sport, you tell them that you want to play a sport, then that's a commitment for that season to practice. You're not going to be the kid that just shows up at the game and says, hey, I signed up, so I'm going to play. Like that's not what sports are about. You know what I'm saying? So if I ask if you want to do soccer or track or basketball, whatever it is, then you understand if you want to play, you have to practice. And that's like one of our household rules. You know what I'm saying? So, we'll practice, a little bit of something that they did at practice, or different stuff like that, just like 30 minutes or whatever. So it's kind of just a prep thing. And then the day of the game, to answer your question before the game, what we talk about is the same things we're going to talk about after the game, and they tell them to me, I'm like, all right, you ready for the game? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you ready to go? All right. You know what I'm saying? What are the 4 things we need to make sure we do today? I need to make sure I play hard. Yep. I need to make sure I'm a good teammate. Yep. I need to make sure I listen to my coach. Yep. And then they get all excited. I need to be a beast. I'm like, you got it. And we put on some music and we just ride.
That reminds me of that gym song I sent you. Well, remember that gym song I sent you?
That's in the PG-13 versions in the rotation. He knows that song. He loves that's one of his pregame songs. If anybody's ever seen my videos, they know sometimes I post videos of my son. He loves music. He loves to dance. He's a very he's got a lot of personality. So it's pretty cool.
Nice. I didn't know they had a PG 13 kind of verse of that song. I'm gonna have to look that up.
Yeah, he's typed in edited. Something the name of the song. Clean version.
Yeah, because that's a cool song to play when the kids are like getting hype, whether it's practice or a game or something like that. Right. I might have to turn that one on, get the kids all pumped up. Love it, man. So like as we're talking, I'm thinking of all these great questions there in relation to coaching and basketball, and I had some other questions for you. What's that?
So write them down. If we don't get to them today, I'll shoot a video or do a YouTube.
Yeah, I might give you some good video ideas too. Yeah, from doing this. But yeah, man. So for parents. So like this is something that I notice. It's like always like a fine line between like how involved the parents get, like as far as the coach and trusting the coach. Like, would you have any advice like for parents out there to like, that have their kids in sports in general, and as far as trusting their coach and things like that? Like, what's your thoughts about that?
Whew. this might have to be like this one question alone might have to be like a 10 video series or something.
So here's some good video ideas for you, right? For your YouTube channel and Instagram and stuff.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. I'm going to do like a series on this one, because because it's that important of a question. You know what I'm saying? Because it's that important of a question. That's why I say that. And the reality of it is this, especially in basketball, youth basketball is one of the fastest growing sports right now, globally right now. You know what I'm saying? It's just growing. The popularity of the sport is growing like crazy. So there's more and more kids playing at younger ages, which is a trickle-down effect, right? So now there becomes more and more teams for kids to play on, more and more camps, more and more that are out there, more and more clinics, more and more trainers, which means there are more and more coaches, right? Which is a question you asked me. And as parents, you know what I mean? It's the challenge is you don't know what you don't know, right? So for me, I remember experiencing this myself. Basketball is my background. And I know the sport and I know how to identify the right kind of environment or setting for my son to be in, based on what he needs to develop. You know what I'm saying? I can recognize that because I have experience in that. When we went to track, I don't have that experience. So I'm looking at it like, is this a good track practice he's in? Is this a good, you know what I'm saying? Is he learning the right things? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. So all I have to go on is the result I see at the track meet. You know what I mean? So as a parent, the education behind it, right? How do you go about navigating through that? How do you go about recognizing a good coach? Or I speak on environments, right? I think the most important thing as a parent is for you to, don't always analyze the coach that is there. Analyze the environment, because the environment is going to speak to the coach. You know what I mean? Is the environment one where things are organized, where things are, seem like they've been planned out, or does it just kind of seem like it's sporadic? You know what I mean? Is the coach, because everybody that played can't necessarily coach. And everybody that coach can't necessarily play. You know what I mean? And it's just because one sport does not mean that you know another sport. So there's all those different variables in it. You know what I'm saying? So what you want to look for in your environment is you want to look at those are the things that you're looking for. You know what I'm saying? Is it organized? Is it structured? You know what I'm saying? Does it have a flow to it? Does it make sense? And being able to, and I think seeing different environments is so important for parents to have, you know what I mean? So they get a proper perspective on it, because you, like I say, you don't know what you don't know. So if you go to, Lil Billy's team, because Lil Billy and your son are friends, and now he's going to this team just because his friend's over there, you know what I'm saying? But that might not be the environment your child needs right now. You know what I mean? It might be not competitive enough, or it might be too competitive. You know what I'm saying? And if you personally don't have a background in sports, this is where the other issue starts to come in, because some parents never played, so they don't know how to navigate. You know what I'm saying? Some of those, they don't know what it is that they're looking for. You know what I'm saying? That's where, focusing on the little things that you can recognize as a parent, because a parent knows what an organized environment looks like. You know what I'm saying? A parent knows what, wasted downtime looks like. You know what I'm saying? A parent knows, okay, is what they're doing look like something I might see them do in a game? You know what I mean? Or we just doing drills every single time. You know what I'm saying? They have no, you know what I mean? And not being afraid to change environments. You know what I mean? Because that's where the issue comes in, because depending on your schedule, work schedule, you know what I'm saying, what you have going on or different things like that, you may only have Tuesdays and Thursdays available. And on Tuesday, Thursdays, there's only these two teams available, or two environments to put your child in. But what your child really needs to be in this environment on Monday night, but I work Monday night, so I can't take them. You know what I'm saying? So there's different variables that come in that can impact that, you know what I'm saying, that decision-making process. That's why I think ultimately it goes back to recognizing if your child has a passion in that sport at all to begin with. Because if not, then, you know what I'm saying? Because I think as parents, you can always find a way to make a way, you know what I'm saying? But it's easier to find a way to make a way for your child if you see that it's something that they have a genuine, you know what I'm saying, interest and passion in.
Yeah. Yeah, I see what you're saying there too, like with the different the different schedules, and if there's a passion, you'll find a way. And like I don't know how to pinpoint down on exactly what you're saying there with the environment. It's like, but yeah, like I notice with parents, like it's hard for them. Like I think parents should be more like humble, like from my own 1 year of getting to coach, they should be just more humble, and know, just know that they don't know it all, like you're talking about the unknown and things like that. And
Right.
I know a lot of parents have tunnel vision too, and with their kids, like they only see their kids, and sometimes they're just focus on them, and I think that's a real challenge. I think that's real tough to deal with, man. I think that I give you a lot of props and a lot of credit, for doing that for all these years, because it's not easy. Like it's not like one shape fits all holes or whatever. Like you really have to
No, it does not.
You got to be the chameleon, Coach Ray Briggs, a chameleon, you know what I mean? And just be able to adjust to different parents. Some parents are, I could only imagine, all those years of doing that,
Well,
and then, have you coached your own kids too, Ray, or?
Yes. And just to touch real quick on exactly what you just talked about as far as, parents and different kinds of parents, and, be able to deal with different kinds of parents. And when I first got started, really kind of, working with the kids and taking and going from the camp and clinic and training environment into like the competitive club and team and, regional, national level type competition, being able to understand what I understand now, in that parents have to go through it. You can try and educate them. You can try and, talk them through certain things. You can try and share your experiences with them, that you've been through personally, or you've seen with other people and stuff like that. But understanding that at the end of the day, a parent is going to be a parent, and they're going to always do what they feel is best for their child, even if it's not always the best thing. You know what I mean? Because I think, regardless of how they may feel about a coach or an environment, that's not going to be the number one most thing. The most thing is, okay, what is best for my child first? So whatever decisions they make, whatever actions they take, ultimately isn't about that coach. You know what I mean? And it's not something you can't take personal as a coach. You know what I'm saying? If you're somebody that's coaching, you have to understand it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? That's just the reality. A parent has to go through it themselves, have to experience it themselves. You know what I mean? Now, whether they take your advice or not, they're still going to have to experience it themselves. You know what I'm saying? Before they really understand, what I'm saying, what it means, or what it's really about. You know what I mean? So I think, that, can help. I think I can help anybody that's, maybe coaching or getting into it, or maybe, as a parent wondering about it. If not, it's real easy to take it, to take it personal, to get, lose a lot of sleep over it, get very stressed out, to where you start questioning your passion for, like, why am I really doing this? You know what I'm saying? I didn't sign up to deal with all this, you know what I mean? If you have the right perspective on it.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on communication with the parents? Is it pretty big? Like if they have a concern or something like that, they probably shouldn't.
Yeah, huge. Communication is huge, because communication builds relationships. And if you don't have relationships, then you can't coach. You can't work with somebody else's child if you don't have a relationship with them. You know what I'm saying? And you can't have a good relationship in anything without communication. You know what I'm saying? Now, with all communication, when it comes to coach and parents, there are certain parameters that are usually universal, that sometimes have to be clarified. The same way, like with a husband and wife, right? There's certain parameters that come along with how you communicate as a husband and wife. That's different than when you're, boyfriend and girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? Every relationship has its own certain set of not boundaries, but approaches that you want to go about, communicating with. And with parents and coaches, one thing that I always had in place was I'll make myself too available to talk, with parents and stuff like that. But I don't talk to parents immediately after a sporting event. I let them know, that's something that, I'll be more than happy, but at least 24 to 48 hours, before we discuss anything that happened in that game, if there is an issue, you know what I mean? And then, okay. and then, first and foremost, yes, always. If not, it can get ugly. I've had some crazy experiences. Yeah.
I like that. I like that because I can relate to that, like in other business arrangements that I've had and things like that. Sometimes it's best to just sit on it for 12 hours, 24 hours, because it's like if you just start talking on the spot there, it could turn into an argument maybe. Yeah. I like that boundary that you created there. So you make that real strong. Like anything you guys want to talk about the game, we'll talk about tomorrow. That's pretty much what you do.
Right. Write it down, type it out in the text. Don't send it, type it out in the text, so you don't forget or whatever, because if you do have concerns, we can talk about them. And then the other thing, when I talk with them, it's always about their child. Whatever it is that we talk about, I'll talk about anything we talk about, but, we're not going to talk for 10, 15, 20 minutes about, how come Billy doesn't pass your son the ball? Or how come, Chris gets to play through 8 mistakes and my son makes 1 mistake and doesn't get to play anymore? We're not going to talk about anybody else's name, any other child but your child, because that's what we're here. That's what this is about, So it's not about comparing your child to somebody else or, that's another thing that I put in place, I always have in place when it comes to speaking with child. So that prevents a lot. Let's put it that way. That prevents a lot with those two things kind of being in place.
Yeah. Love it, man. I love this conversation. So so here's something I thought of like that, like when we're talking, what you're talking about, like the parents and like, hey, maybe Billy didn't pass it to him, stuff like that. It made me think of like sportsmanship and stuff like that. Right. So like, how do you deal with like bad sportsmanship from your kids and their parents?
I think that goes back to the environment. Goes back to the environment that you create. I think sportsmanship is
like having bad sportsmanship is what I mean, not sportsmanship in general.
Yeah. How do I deal with parents or players who have bad sportsmanship?
Yeah.
Well, it goes back to the environment. I think also
kick them off the team.
It really goes to. It goes to the environment and everybody. Yeah. Everybody's.
I know it's like a touchy question a little bit, right? Because it's like it's probably it's like a touchy question in a way, kind of, right? Because it's like depends on like what they're doing and I imagine
it depends on what they're doing, but really it depends on how the coach is. Because one thing that I tell, and this is also real important, but every coach isn't for every player. Every player isn't for every coach at certain times. You know what I mean? Every player isn't for every coach, and every coach isn't for every player at certain times. So one coach may be great for your son in 2nd through 4th, 5th grade, but then when they start getting to 6th or 8th grade, they need a different coach. They need something a little bit different. Then when they get 9th, 10th, they might need a little something different. You know what I mean? And so being able to, keep a pulse on that, you know what I'm saying? I think helps with what could be considered being a bad sportsmanship, you know what I'm saying, or a trouble parent or anything like that, you know what I'm saying? Having an understanding of that and being at peace with that, you know what I'm saying? Because that allows the conversation when you're dealing with, the negative action by the player or the parent, you know what I'm saying? It's like, hey, that's not how we do things over here, you know what I'm saying? So I think it shows up in little things like, you know what I'm saying, like if a teammate's down, go help them up. You know what I'm saying? If there's a drill, whatever drills and stuff you're doing in practice, find ways to have them communicate with each other, talk to each other, you know what I'm saying? Inside it, you know what I'm saying? Set, team goals, you know what I'm saying? As a team, we got to make 4 or 5 in a row. We got to do X, Y, Z, you know what I'm saying, in a row. So, it's almost like little team building exercises that you can modify inside of whatever sport it is that you're doing, you know what I'm saying? To help create that culture of being a good sport, you know what I'm saying? Now, does it prevent bad attitudes or whatever? No. Is it going to stop the crazy parent that was going to be the crazy parent? No, because parents are going to do what they, want to do. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they may listen to you, they may not. They may, conform or they may not. And you have to be okay with that. You know what I'm saying? So if it's being okay, we have to agree to disagree that this isn't the right environment right now. Because if you communicate that from the beginning, you know what I'm saying? It keeps the bridge still built. You know what I'm saying? If it's time for you to help that kid later when they are maybe a little bit older or a little more, you know what I'm saying? The relationship.
You're being honest. You're being transparent.
Yeah. I'll be like, look, you know what I'm saying? Look, the rest of these guys are maybe not quite as advanced, or maybe you're too advanced, or maybe, you need to be in an environment where, you can get a little more experience or a little more, floor time or mat time or court time or, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But, if you can't be comfortable having an uncomfortable conversation, then you can't coach. You can't work with them.
Yeah, man, you ain't kidding, man. Awesome, man. I felt like we could talk for like a couple hours on this stuff, man. I got all these questions that I'm like, I don't know if I'm able to get them by the top of the hour. But here's a really good one. It's a fun one. I always like to ask. It's been one of my favorite questions since I started doing this. I don't know if it's like my favorite anymore or not, but I guess it's kind of my favorite still. If Coach Ray Briggs was able to get his butt into a time machine and go back and talk to the Coach Ray Briggs just getting started as a basketball coach, what would be the advice you would go give yourself?
The advice I would give myself would be good question.
Because you have all this wisdom now. You got almost 2 decades of coaching experience.
If I think back to when I first, because my progression into deciding that this is what I wanted to do, started kind of dabbling in it a little bit. And I think when I decided that this was okay, I guess that would have been 2004. 2004 is probably when I first, after kind of dabbling in and doing, it was like, okay, this is what I want to do full time. This is my passion. The advice that I would give myself back then would be to move in confidence, to believe that regardless of your age, that you can speak and you can really, you don't have to just keep it to yourself. You don't have to be afraid or bashful about being confident in what it is that you know. You know what I'm saying? And I think some of that just kind of traces back to, me as the young person kind of growing up. Like I said, basketball for me, I wasn't the kid that grew up saying, hey, I want to be in the NBA. I want to make millions of dollars. You know what I'm saying? Everything like that. I was never that kid throughout high school, throughout college. I didn't even think realistically about playing professional basketball until my junior year in college. When I saw other guys going and getting contracts, making money playing basketball, I felt I was better than, But the core for me, for basketball, even getting involved in the sport, which is, that goes back to the same advice of what I would tell myself, is the confidence. Because, I said, I had some issues, I was dealing with at home when I was young. I said I was tall, young, so I was uncoordinated. I wore big glasses. I was, real goofy. I still am a little goofy, but I guess. But I used to get picked on a lot. I used to get talked about a lot. You know what I'm saying? I had some self-esteem issues and stuff, kind of up in some anger, which led to a lot of anger issues. Getting fights and stuff like that when I was, 4th, 5th, 6th grade. And then going into 7th grade, like I said, I was actually in the band playing the baritone. And another kid who was in the band's dad was the junior varsity coach at the high school. Was like, who's this tall, lanky kid with the big glasses playing the baritone? Does he like basketball? And that, I guess that belief, is, someone believing in me like that, you know what I'm saying? That, for as much as everybody had kind of been beating me down, you know what I'm saying? Just gave me so much confidence, you know what I'm saying? It gave me so much confidence. It just made me just want to outwork everybody that was better than me at that time or talked about me or anybody that any time of competition. I get real very competitive because someone put that confidence in me. So what I would tell myself, so even like I said, when I first started, I want to coach. I'm saying? I want to find a way to give that to the youth. And so it wasn't about, trying to make a team or develop a certain skill or learn how to play basketball per se. It was more like I want to be able to give a kid confidence. I want to be able to give a kid, some self-esteem. I want to be able to give a kid, that belief that they can do whatever it is that they want to do, regardless of whatever else might be saying or how they may feel about themselves. So when I first started coaching, that message wasn't clear to me. That believing that I could really do that. I didn't believe in myself enough that I could really do that. And so now, I'm really starting to get the confidence to do that, and speak that, hey, you know what, this is really what my message is. Can I teach you how to shoot a jump shot? Yeah. Can I teach you how to dribble? Can I teach you how to understand how to run a pick and roll or what? Yeah, but that's not what it's about for me. So speak that message. I've always known that, but speaking that with confidence would be what I would tell my younger self. If that makes sense. Not a little bit long-winded, but that was a good question, man. That was a good question.
Yeah, it always seems to be a good one, man. And I love the answer, man. I really love the answer that you gave. And like the way I was hearing it was like you would be telling yourself like, to be confident and to believe in yourself too, like to believe in yourself. And you even touched like on like kind of like your passion of how you like to help kids because of like you were talking about some of the kids that try bullying you for like being tall and things like that, like probably beat down your confidence a little bit, like and then as you got confident, it's like later on you're like, I want to teach people how to build themselves up, right? Like how to make them feel confident, how for them to believe in themselves, and you always like to say trust the process. You know what I mean? So like, like that kind of goes along. I like when I was hearing you talk to your old self, like in your reply, you were talking about believing yourself, having confidence and trust in the process. And like that's the things that I was hearing. And, it's one other thing that I kind of like felt like I heard you saying in a different way with it. But yeah, I love how it definitely connected to like, you building yourself up as a younger guy. And then like, in the basketball, you're building other people up. And then you like went back into going back in time and building yourself up again. So it's like, you're just like, you're building kids up, you're building yourself up, you're building your future self up. And I see all that, like you playing all that in your head there. That was pretty cool to listen to your reply and kind of like hear what I was getting out of it. So definitely, great respect, for that. And we should all believe in ourselves more. We should all be, more confident. And I like how you were like, not even just about believing yourself or being confident or trusting the process. I like how you were talking about kind of like talking about faith. Like that goes to trust in the process, I guess, too. Like with my thoughts that I was hearing. Yeah, like you were like kind of saying like it sounded like you were kind of saying like have faith. This is gonna work. Have faith. This is gonna work. So yeah, so I took a lot out of your response, man.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. It's I don't know. I guess sometimes it can sound real cliche-ish, right? You know what I mean?
Right.
There's so many, motivational things out there and stuff. And I said, really, and the motivation isn't even really, I don't know if that's the intent. I'm not looking to be motivational, you know what I mean? But,
yeah.
I want, I just think it's so true because, and we was talking about it before we went on live here, you know what I'm saying? I think, I heard somebody say one time, that your gift will make room for you, right? And what they was talking about was, is a video. Steve Harvey has a clip video and he talks about, jumping off the cliff, just, believing and pulling, trusting. And what I take away from that, connected into what we're talking about here, is believing, having faith that there's something inside of you that's unique to anybody else out there. You know what I'm saying? And everybody's not going to see it. You know what I'm saying? you know, and depending on what environment you're in, you know what I'm saying, it may take, you know, you may not see it because you don't, you know, really understand. But, you know, when you take time to think about it, you start paying attention to what, you know, you're attracted to and different stuff like that, and you really put, you know, energy into that, you know what I'm saying, thoughts into that, action into that and stuff like that. And you just focus on doing the little things, you know, study a little bit more, you know what I'm saying, try this a little bit more, you know what I'm saying, you're attracted to it anyway, you know what I'm saying, you know, just do 10% more, you know what I'm saying, just try to hit a little single, try to do one little thing, you know what I'm saying, in that area of passion. It feeds you, you know what I'm saying, it begins to feed you more and more, and then you have your head down, you're hitting these little singles, you're doing this little 10% here or there, and you look up and you got this, you know, just, man, whoa. You know what I mean? You're amazed at what you see, or the people you've been able to impact, or things you've been able to accomplish. You know what I'm saying? When you're really working inside of what's inside of you, you know what I'm saying? When you're really working in your path and you're finding your way to connect, you know what I'm saying, with somebody else. You know what I'm saying? You're not a basketball guy, but my basketball experiences allow us to connect because you have something in your own way where you similar experiences. Different, you're unique. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's important for everybody to understand, especially the youth, because the younger they can figure that thing out. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I was like, I tell kids all the time, I'll call you yes, sir, no, sir, all the time, because it's about respect. You don't got to be an H for me to call you sir or to call you ma'am. You know what I'm saying? It's like you can inspire me or motivate me, you know what I'm saying? The same way. So you don't just say yes, sir, no, sir to an adult. You know what I'm saying? You said to anybody that you respect, and shoot, man. Shoot, seeing how hard you work, I tell my son all the time, I'm like, yes, sir. Like, man, the way you work and, you know what I'm saying, the passion you have, I respect you, son. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah. Man, love that, man. I feel the same way. Same thing. I do the same thing with kids. Like, no, sir, yes, sir. Like, I talk to them just like an adult. Like, they're like a little person. You know what I mean? Like, they're still a person too. You know, and if they put in the work, you know what I mean? And I like how you touched on that whole cliche, like motivation, stuff like that. I'll tell you what, man, like, I feel very inspired right now, and I feel very motivated right now from listening to you. One thing about motivation, inspiration, things like that is the more raw you are, you know, the more inspiring and more motivating it is. So I appreciate you coming on here today and being raw, you know, like just sharing your, like, you know, sharing like things that, you know, about yourself that maybe you might not normally share. You know what I mean? Like you're pretty raw throughout this talk, and I really appreciate that. And you know, I can relate to it. And it takes courage. It takes courage, you know, to be raw. It takes courage to stand out. You know, it takes courage, you know, to do the kind of things you're doing, man. So
same way, man. Should you do the same thing for me? That's why we connect. You know what I'm saying? I mean, things you're doing, and you know what I'm saying, anybody that doesn't know Dan, I mean, it's just an absolute rock star in the e-commerce arena. So if anybody doesn't know what that means, it's basically being able to make money online with Amazon and eBay, you know what I'm saying, different, you know, e-commerce, you know, sales online platforms, right? So he like I say, he's an absolute rock star in it, and just being able to not only create a situation for himself, but help other people create a situation where they're able to work from home, which frees up time for them to follow their passions and different stuff like that, which is why we've even connected. So, you know what I'm saying, him, you know what I'm saying, and what he's done is motivating, you know what I'm saying, motivating me, even though we our core competencies may be in different areas, but you know, so much stuff is just transferable. So you know, anybody that's got questions about that, you know, anybody that may know me that's watching this or whatnot, this is the guy. If you ever see me post anything talking about, you know, making money on Amazon or different stuff like that, which allows me to be able to have the freedom to hang around the gym a little bit more and stuff like that. Dan's the guy that I've learned everything that I know about as far as Amazon is concerned and stuff like that, and some stuff on eBay as well. So reach out, connect to me, you can find them on my profile. Anybody that's watching this.
Awesome, man. Thanks for saying all those things. And it's you know, as we're coming to the end, I'm ready to plug you, and you start plugging me, like, you know, like talking about things that I do. And so how can people get in touch with you, Ray? I did put your Facebook fan page here, right on the post here on Facebook, and it'll be uploaded onto my YouTube channel as well. People will be able to find Coach Ray Briggs, you know, on YouTube as well. in the future as soon as I get this loaded up. Well, what are just briefly, like, what are the best ways for people to get in touch with you?
Mainly here on my fan page, Coach Ray Briggs Basketball. You can send me a message there on my personal page. I also have a YouTube channel on the Coach Ray Briggs, or on Instagram. I post a lot of videos on Instagram, Ray Briggs 81, Ray Briggs 81. So try to keep it all similar, easy to follow. Definitely send me any questions you have. Like I said, Dan gave me so many ideas on this call here for some different videos here, just some information I just want to put out there. People can take what they can get from it and leave the rest, and just so I can get it out of my head. So I appreciate you letting me be a part of this inaugural season, Dan. You know what I'm saying? Episode 33. Hopefully I was able to keep up with Amazing the Heat. I've seen some of your other videos, some of the other guys that you've done these interviews with, some heavy hitters, in the home-based business industry and stuff that are absolutely crushing it. So, anybody that's watching this, looking at his video, go back and look at some of his other, his past series and stuff like that. Like I said, I'm sure he's got something that you're going to be able to get some value out of from the people that he.
Oh yeah, so. Yeah, man. Hey, man, I appreciate you, man. You're special, man. You're special, man. This is a special episode. I really like this episode. We're gonna close it out with what's one last thing. I was going to ask you a question, but we'll make it like a words of encouragement / question. I was going to say, like, any advice for kids out there, so you can make it like your advice for kids, or like some last words of encouragement, and then we're going to close it out. This is for the kids. There's teenagers on Facebook, you know what I mean? And then there's adults on Facebook that can share this with their kids, of course, and on YouTube.
I guess the last piece, it's one thing I tell people, and I always hashtag and say, more than the game. When it comes to basketball, or it comes to any skill thing, right, that you want to learn, one thing I found that the harder you work to become a better person, the easier it is to become a better player, right? So I tell kids all the time, I'm like, you know what I'm saying, if you can understand how to work hard and be a good person, it's easy to become a good basketball player. You know what I'm saying? If you're a person that's going to work hard, it's going to be coachable, it's going to be a great teammate, it's going to go out and try to be an absolute beast all the single time. If you focus on trying to become a good person, it's easy to become a good basketball player, because you're going to learn, you're going to be coachable, you're going to work hard, you know what I'm saying? You're going to do everything like that. So make sure that that's at the core of what you're doing, you know what I'm saying? You can learn how to do anything.
Wow, that's powerful. I'm just going to drop that right in the comment thread. So you said the harder you work, to be, the harder you work to become a better person, it becomes easier to become a good player, basically.
Yeah,
did I say that wrong?
Yeah, if you can be a good person, it's easy to be a good player.
It's easy to be a good player. All right, man. I love that, man. I definitely want to share that. It's easy to be a good player. So thank you so much, Ray. Hey, you delivered so much value here, man. I want to try to share this with, like, other people that are coaches that coach youth and things like that. And did you have something else that you wanted to say? You look like
no, man. Appreciate it. No, I'm just glad. I'm glad he was able to get some value out of it.
Oh yeah, I feel like I learned a lot, man. Like, and got a better awareness. I always talk about awareness and having a higher awareness to information, because people always hear these little sayings. They hear what coaches say, and but like, there's always a higher awareness, and a better understanding to information. So I'm grateful for you. Thank you to everybody. Thank you for tuning in and watching me and Ray today, and joining, and whether you joined in on the conversation, or whether you catch it on the live or the replay, or whatever. We appreciate you. Appreciate you for coming on the show. Whatever it takes. Wednesday episode number 33. Thank you, Phil. I see you right there. And we'll see you on the next episode. Thank you again, Ray.
All right, I appreciate it.